Another weekend of 2-3 poker at Ocean's 11 Casino. Let's get right to the hands from Friday night. First up with Queen 10 suited in the small blind, facing a raise to 11 from the cutoff. I could 3-bet, but I decided on just a call. Not a great situation playing out of position, but the hand is just too good to fold, especially facing a late position raise. Flop brings absolutely nothing. It gets checked through though. Turn brings me top pair with a 10, and a second flush draw is on board now. I lead for 15, then get min raised to 30. Too good to fold, even more so getting about 5 to 1. River, very interesting with a third 10, but also bringing in the flop flush draw. Which of my 5 possible options is best here? Check fold, I quickly rule out, way too nitty. Check raise, way too crazy. It's between check call, or bet fold. Bet and a call of a raise seems to me the worst out of those 3 options, since what worst hand or bluff would raise the turn and this much of an action river? Narrowing it down to check call, hoping to get weaker 10s to bet or miss draws, or bet fold, hoping to get value from something strange he checked back on the flop like an overpair. I tend to default towards value, so I went with the lead right into him again. He raised, and I went with the plan and let it go. Check call might have been the best line. Still think I would have lost the same there with him betting a better hand. Same hand, in position this time. I raise to 12 from the button and get the big blind to call, who is a younger woman that is a dealer at the casino. Flop goes right to giving me top pair this time. Bet of 15, and a min raise, again to 30. Can't fold, I call and look to play position. Turn is very bad. Flush gets there, and Jack 10 also has 2 pair if she raised that on the flop. She bets 40, and I let it go again. If she is bluffing with 5-4 or something, just gotta give her credit. I'm behind so often after that turn card. In for 600 now, looking to dig myself out of the small hole I'm in. Raise ace-king suited under the gun, and get 2 callers with position on me. Flop, about as good as you can get. Ace-2 with 2 spades. I go for a small bet of 20, not wanting to look too strong, and I would also want to make this bet with pocket pairs. Both players call, turn is a brick, offsuit 7. I went with a check. Betting into 2 players, again, looks exactly like a big ace raising under the gun. I want to balance my play out. I think it's likely another player has an ace also, and if that is the case, they will almost surely bet. Then flush draws might also take a stab. It gets to the button, who puts out a pot-sized bet, committing himself. Music to my ears. I race to get it all in against him. I could have called to hopefully get the player left to act in. After a fold and a call, the river is a spade. I show and take it down after the cutoff mucks. Not nearly as eventful as my sessions from last weekend. I will take it though. $182 profit after being stuck a little bit early. Wasn't picking up the big hands and remained patient. Lots of folding this session. Moving on to Saturday. First hand dealt, I raise ace-jack from the cutoff and get the small blind to call. I call him live at the bike because I sat next to him the previous night and he was watching the channel on his phone while playing. For sure a thinking player, then noticed me last night not messing around very much. Heads up to a draw-heavy board giving me second pair. I bet big for 25, thinking mini draws from king 10 and ace 10 to flush draws will call, plus weaker jacks. Live at the bike does call, and a bad card for our exact holding in a king. I check it back. Betting would be turning our hand into a bluff, and I might still be good. River pairs the board in a 3, and I face a bet of 65. All 3 options seem reasonable. Plenty of hands beat me, and folding is a fine option. I do beat some hands, like miss clubs, so a call sort of makes sense. Fold looks better out of those 2. I could also raise, though. really being the only player that could represent full houses on this board. The only hands I think Villain will have that will call a raise are 10-9 suited and Ace-10 for straights. He knows I'm tight, and I think I can get him to fold King-Queen, King-Jack, and King-10. I went with that logic, put in a raise, then got snap called. He turns over 10-9 offsuit for a straight, so he had many more combos of straights than I assumed calling from the small blind. Not sure about the bluff. I just know it's not a great start to this session. In the cutoff now with Ace-King, facing an under-the-gun opening from what I deem a tight, solid female player. She gets a call from a player of interest that limped 6-2 offsuit. I like a call better here, keeps him in the pot, as well as all the weaker aces in the under-the-guns range. If I raise, under-the-gun can easily have a monster and put in a 4-bet, which I would fold, playing 175 big blinds effective. Don't want to turn Ace-King into a bluff. The flop is good, and so is the action. I call a bet from the player of interest of 20, looking to raise the turn. The under-the-gun lady wants to bump it up now, though. Check raising to 80. After a fold, I can't go anywhere just yet. I call. It looks like aces, but only one combo of that, or possibly Ace-10 with 6 combos. Ace-King and Ace-Queen at least can also play this way, I think with many more combos of those. Pocket 10s I think would just lead the flop without blocking any of the aces. Turn is a 9, bringing in a backdoor flush draw. She bets half pot, and I still think I'm doing just fine against her range. I call, then see a good river in a second 10. Less likely she has Ace-10, plus less likely on her end that I have that hand or pocket 10s if she has Ace-Queen or Ace-King. She continues with a $200 bet, less than half pot. I'm getting almost 3.5 to 1 on a call, and the runout can't really be any better for Ace-King. I call, her showing me the goods.
Aces full, Mike.
Not my day. I could have made an exploitative fold only if I know she won't ever bluff or play Ace-King this way. If that specific hand of Ace-King is even in her range, I would be slightly better than 3 to 1 on a call on the river. Adding in Ace-Queen makes me actually the favorite. Then, of course, if she bluffs at all, my equity would increase for both of those. Sometimes you just run into bigger hands, and I don't think I should have gotten away from this one. One step back here, losing $629 from this session.